Dr. Dees is on the call tonight. Hi, guys. How are you? Great. How are you? Good, thank you.
Good evening. Kathy Wilson from Tampa, Florida.
Welcome, welcome. Nice to hear your voice.
Nice to hear you, too.
Thank you. Who else wants to say hello?
Hello, Jeannie Lerner, Florida.
Hi, Jeannie. How are you?
I'm good, Dr. Dees. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Who else wants to say hello? Hi, Carol. I heard you before, too.
Morning, son.
Hi, sweetie. How are you?
Okay, thanks. You?
We clearly have Florida in attendance.
Always.
Who else wants to say hello?
Carla from Pennsylvania.
Nice to hear your voice, Carla. How are you?
Fine, thank you. Yourself?
Good. Thank you very much. Who else wants to say hello before we jump in, guys? All right, everyone. So this is our Tuesday night product call. This is Dr. Dees, and I'm going to host it this evening. I know, like a lot of you, this evening, for us, we are all going back to school tomorrow. So there's a lot of people on this call tonight that are busy trying to figure out how to get their kids back to school in the morning. And Melina, you on by any chance? I'll wait and see if she pops on. Maureen, have her, if she's available, get her on, okay? If not, it's fine. But I wanted to just say to all of you who got your kids back, congratulations. I know it's a feat, especially going back this year. And for all of you like myself who are heading back tomorrow, you can do it. You can do it. That's kind of my motto for this evening. Well, just so you can all chuckle, my children are passing notes under the door asking me what time dinner is. So we're all in the same boat together. I am Dr. Karen Spencer Dees. I have been with Sunrider for over 25 years, right out of actually while I was in college. I began to use and consume these amazing products and found that they made a really big difference with my own health and was very motivated and excited to learn more about these foods and have really stayed with this company for all of these years through raising children, getting a lot of degrees, being in the field of biology and nutrition and medicine for, my goodness, over 20 years. And finding that these foods really cross over for all of us to a healthier lifestyle, to really an opportunity for all of us to utilize a term that we like to use with Sunrider called regeneration, meaning that if you feed your body the right foods in the right combination in a concentrated form that you can digest and absorb, your body ultimately is the miracle. It can and it will rebuild itself, renew itself, and ultimately regenerate itself, or to give you, turn back the clock, or give you a younger, newer version of yourself. And as we age, guys, really from the time that we're born, but as we age, we kind of head down a path of malnourishment, of degeneration. And what Sunrider has really offered us is about nourishment. It's about giving ourselves and our bodies real fuel that do something different than take us down a path of aging and of losing our memories and of being exhausted all the time, but instead offer our bodies the nourishment to help us walk all stages of our lives, whether we're teenagers, right, or we're in the middle of our lives or towards the end of our lives, whatever that looks like for you. It gives you the fuel and the nutrition you need to have the best quality of your life. And unlike something like vitamins or companies that carry isolated foods or food products, meaning they've extracted out of the food, such as they've taken the ascorbic acid or vitamin C out of the orange and they've sold the vitamin C, which is fine and short-term and temporary for your immune system. What Sunrider has done is they have found a way in their brilliance to actually keep the structure of the whole food intact. And so for every product you use, whether it's on your skin or you consume or you even drink, the structure of that original food is still intact. And because it's intact, the body does not have to exert any extra energy, and it does not have to rob from other systems to break it down. All that it does is it eats it and utilizes it and converts it to either fuel or recovery, and allows for this concept of allows you to build, whether it's the recovery and regeneration of your skin or of the internal organ systems, or it may be as simple for some of you as just losing my memory, which I think 15 or more of you have emailed this week. I think I'm losing my mind or my memory, which we are going to cover a little bit tonight. So Sunrider is really the birth child of Doctors Chen. It is their baby, and truly it's miraculous. Dr. Tei-Fu Chen was a young child who was not well, and it really is through his experience of coming from a, I'd say, a poor family is what he says, coming from a version of poverty, and his grandfather, who would harvest different herbs through the woods, through the fields, and knew how to nourish the sickly child back to health. And it's part of really the Chen story, and I encourage you, if you have not, to get on their website, their YouTube. They even have an amazing book, and learn about the origin of Sunrider versus just what the products can do for you, but how this company was truly founded. Because the Chen family is quite original and amazing. And so Dr. Tei-Fu Chen, who went from being a sickly child to a young man who was much healthier, really had quite a mission in this lifetime to feed the world and to offer to the world the type of nutrition his grandfather gave to him, which was a concentrated version of what we call NuPlus. And that NuPlus original was the original formula that he ate to recover from his own health challenges and from his own challenges in life. And so as we talk about Sunrider, I want you to think about that this just wasn't a thought. This was an experience. And a lot of times in this life, I've said this to many of you before, when we've learned of something that has changed our lives, it's up to us to open our mouth and to share that with someone, because we're all looking for a better quality, right? A better quality of life. If you know that this is that, then you need to tell more people about it, because Sunrider has changed all of our lives. Correct? All of us. Dr. Chen, Tei-Fu Chen, met and married Dr. Oilin Chen, who is now and has been for, my goodness, over 30 years, a Western obstetrician or medical doctor. And together they really formed Sunrider as the best of Western science and the most amazing part of the Eastern philosophy of regeneration and nutrition. And we have the best of both worlds. And this is really their legacy to us and to their children and grandchildren. So this is the best and highest quality of nutrition in its whole food state, meaning, right, that if I picked that carrot out of the ground and I ate that carrot, that's a whole food. What Sunrider did with that whole food is they did something called concentrated. They instead picked 10 carrots in the best quality, right? Harvested at the peak of perfection. And they were able to take the nutrition of 9 of those carrots, this is my example, and spray dry that on the one carrot that you eat. And that one carrot really becomes a superfood. It's a super concentrated carrot that we could all digest. We could never digest the 10 carrots. There's too much of a cellulose or a fiber that is hard for us to digest. And so what Sunrider figured out was how to give us the most concentrated version of, in a sense, these fruits and vegetables without having us overeat and consume parts of these fruits and vegetables we cannot digest. The reason your body regenerates or repairs itself is because this concentrated food is easily digestible. And truthfully, if I were to eat a packet of NuPlus, which I have in front of me, it really goes directly into my bloodstream. So whereas when I traditionally eat, and I do, my table food, I have to go through a long digestive process to get the energy or the recovery or the lift, right? Even in my memory. But with the Sunrider foods, it's rather quick. And it goes directly into the bloodstream and gets where it needs to go. It's carried by water, or for a lot of you, your Fortune Delight or your Cali tea beverage, but it's carried there. And it's usable immediately. There's no lag time. You do not have to wait. And so that is why for a lot of you, when you open up a packet of NuPlus, or when you use your VitaSpray, or when you open up a VitaFruit and you drink it, you say within about 10 minutes, oh my gosh, I feel better. Or is it possible that I just had a lift? Well, it's user-friendly foods. It's usable right away. And that's the key to Sunrider. That's why it works. It's why it works on the kids. It's why it works for those that are aging, who may have trouble as time goes on digesting, or they may need to consume foods that they cannot digest any longer. And so this allows for it to get into the body and be used rather quickly and offers a very different life. And so for most of us, we cut, right? We all say the same thing, which is we're so grateful to Sunrider because the quality of the life we have today is dramatically different, right? A lot of your symptoms improve. For some of you, they go away. And again, I want to really reiterate that Sunrider is not a cure. It's the best quality of food in a concentrated form without you having to consume the bulk of the cellulose or the fibrous parts that are hard for you to digest. And it allows for you to get enough of this nutrition. And what Dr. Chen have done is they've put it in the right combination. They knew and they have known which foods feed the circulation or improve, right, your brain function or improve your digestion. And so as I've said to you many, many times, right, guys, that yes, you can use the Sunrider foods and products and skincare products when you have something that's popped up, right? For some of you, it can be simple as, oh my gosh, you're a teenager, you have a pimple. Which Sunrider product works the best on it? For someone else, you might say, oh my goodness, I feel like I'm getting a cold, right? Which Sunrider foods will help my immune system right this second so that cold doesn't come? For others, you'll say, I have a stomach ache, and I would prefer to use something holistic. What does Sunrider make? And maybe you'll choose Assimilate or Assimilate or Vitadophilus. But really the core and the true philosophy of Sunrider is prevention. It's about eating these foods and using these products every single day so that the body does not have to get into crisis. And so it allows for you to have less of these crisis moments and more moments of you living your life. So can you use it for treatment? Of course. But would it behoove you to use it daily, right? So that you can repair, renew, regenerate, and have a better quality of life and enjoy your life? And prevent a whole host of some of these, whether they're genetic or they're environmental, right? Whatever they may be for you, it behooves you to eat these daily and not just look at these as treatment. Okay? All right. So we're going to jump in, and I want to start by answering some of these questions that have come my way over this past week. And I really want to focus first on a product that so many of you asked about. And I believe you're asking about it mostly because a lot of you are either have kids or grandkids that are going back to school, or for a lot of you, you're noticing twofold. Your memory isn't as wonderful as it once was. the emails have been, I'm losing words, or I'd like to improve upon it. And my favorite is it possible it's just menopausal, and this comes along with menopause. So I'm going to answer this all very similar, which is anytime we grow in our lives, whether we're any age, and we are either in new positions in our work, we're going to school, we're going after other degrees, or we're building businesses, or we're just enjoying our lives. Maybe we're traveling, maybe we're visiting with our children, maybe we're reading a book. Whatever it may be, for some of you, you've told me you wanted to learn a new language, and your memory's just not keeping up with you. Well, really, all that is about is you've asked of your brain and of your memory to do more than you're nourishing it. We've had this conversation before. You have to feed your brain enough nutrition, right, to equal what you're asking of it, or even surpass it. And so one of the products that I really wanted to cover tonight, before I do anything else, is Top Focus. And this product came up so many times over this week that I wanted to readdress it. Top Focus is one of Sunrider's newer products, and I'm going to read you from Sunrider's own product page. And if you look under any item on Sunrider's website, when you shop on it, you will always see a little page, right, that says product fact sheet. Click on it, and it will always give you more information on that one product. And that's where I want you always to begin. But what Sunrider states about Top Focus, and I'm going to give you my perspective on this, is our new brain boosting formula helps support focus, memory, and mental speed. Fortified with powerful ginkgo biloba and some other herbs, this nourishing complex of herbal extracts, minerals, amino acids, vitamins in their natural state supports cognitive function while fueling multiple neural pathways. You think clearer, but there's also recovery. It's ideal for work, school, sports, and any time you need to perform at your best. Sunrider's take on this is the benefits are, and this is right from their fact sheet, support your focus, mental clarity, and memory, promotes confidence and calm alertness. It's fast acting, works in 15 minutes. Natural ingredients, no stimulants, no crashes, no jitters, not habit forming. In my opinion, it's a spectacular formula. And I wanted to touch on a couple of the herbs that are in here, just to give you a little bit of think about. Because this product took a long time to create. And this product is for all age groups. And it's not because somebody needs treatment. I want you to always remember that. If I have a child, like I have a child going into high school tomorrow for the first time, there's nothing wrong, but I want to nourish, right, her neural pathways. I want to nourish her ability to focus. She's going to be focusing more. She's going to be thinking. She's going to be overusing her brain. And she'll probably feel normally stressed tomorrow. That's just part of starting something new. That applies to everybody, guys. Everybody, all ages. And so whether this is prevention, or starting something new, or someone who's just struggling to read the book, or the label, I want you all to think about using this product. One of the ingredients in here is called ginkgo biloba. And many of you, and I mean many of you, asked me about this over the past week. There are wonderful books, but a dear friend of mine, an MD named Elson Hoff, many boards with, has written many, many books. And one of these books is called, for those of you that like books, Staying Healthy with Nutrition. And I just want to read you a quote on ginkgo biloba from his book. And it states that this is one of the oldest living plant species. This is called the ginkgo tree. Estimated at well over 100 million years old. The leaves from this tree have a brain-like appearance, thus the name ginkgo biloba. And it states that although it may be new to a lot of us in the West, it's not new to everybody else. The ginkgo tree has been used for centuries in the Orient for complaints associated with aging. An extract of the ginkgo biloba leaves has been tested and reported to be effective at reducing very specific symptoms. Vascular insufficiency, think of that as blood flow, okay? Vascular insufficiency associated with aging, think of that as the blood flow or oxygenation to the brain, right? How quickly you retain things, remember things, how things, the synapses, how quickly all of a sudden everything clicks together. It's also it seems to benefit cerebral blood flow and thus helps with oxygenation throughout the body, not just in the brain. The other piece that's very interesting is there was a study that was done of geriatric patients, and the ginkgo was shown to reduce the symptoms of vertigo, memory loss, tinnitus, or ringing, guys, of the ears, which many of you email me about, and also reduced the pain of a headache. It also has been shown, which is fascinating, to help reduce the pain that has to do with inflammation. So the ginkgo on its own is pretty spectacular. And so one of the other fascinating, I was looking this up in some of the other books, and I have a lot of books, but one of the other studies showed that patients suffering from vertigo and or the ringing of the ears, right, experienced dramatic improvement after taking this due to the increased blood flow, whether it was to the inner ear or to the brain. The studies also show that ginkgo is an antioxidant, which means that it slows the formation of these free radicals, which are believed to be responsible for premature aging, cancer, and other diseases. The nut of the tree, right, is wonderful. It makes an excellent expectorant. They have found that those using ginkgo also have relief from asthma and allergies, which again is fascinating. Among other things, it's being investigated currently as a wonderful new version of an alternate drug that I thought was interesting for all sorts of brain imbalances, such as dementia. Everybody's researching it. Everybody's looking it up. The ginkgo biloba tree and the fruit, or what Sunrider uses, is the food grade part. And so what Sunrider is saying is that the regenerative effect that one would have, and anyone at all ages, is that they're going to notice their mental clarity is improving. Can you imagine that? Hello, within about 15 minutes, the memory is improving, but the calm alertness. So think about someone who drinks a cup of coffee. They feel alert, but they're going to feel jittery. This will allow you to feel alert and calm. Okay? Guys, I'm going to do *6. It'll put you on mute. That way we don't have any background noise. Thank you. Oh, I've got somebody's having a conversation. Okay, so I want everyone, as you're thinking about ways to improve going into September, your focus, your concentration, your memory, I want you to think about using the Top Focus Daily, not sporadically for treatment, but to build you up stronger from a mental component. You want to feed your brain, not just wait for it to talk to you and tell you, my memory isn't great today, right? Or this is not wonderful today, or I'm having a lot of headaches. Instead, utilize Sunrider's philosophy of a building block. It's a mindset we truly have to change. We have to eat Sunrider to build, not just use Sunrider to treat. Okay? Anybody have any questions before I go on Top Focus? Okay, guys. So the next one really goes all the way back to the beginning, which is where Dr. Chen began, and which, again, as I've spoken to many of you this week, I'm learning again how many of you still have not utilized. And I really want to, one more time, bring it back to the basics. Sunrider's philosophy is built on a concept called NBC, Nourish, Balance, and Cleanse, which means that the herbs are either going to nourish us and fill in our missing gaps, they're going to balance us so our systems regulate and work appropriately, or they're going to help cleanse us, meaning that whatever toxicity, free radicals the body does not need to store, it's going to help remove. All right, NBC. This, again, is what we call NuPlus. Okay, now NuPlus comes in many ways. But NuPlus, I want to remind everybody who keeps asking me, NuPlus can have ingredients that some of you find either an allergy to, such as tofu or whole soy, but I want you to look at the NuPlus Original, which has no fruit and no soy. For everyone who can utilize and consume soy and can utilize and consume the fruit, look at all the flavors. Personally, I keep them all in the house. But for those of you who have held back because you think that there's no NuPlus Original, there is. Okay, so here's where we go with this. I'm going to read to you one more time from Sunrider, and then I'm going to jump and move on from where this is. What Sunrider states about NuPlus, and this is, guys, this is for all of you, but it's also for all of your kids and for anybody who is sharing Sunrider, whether it's with those that are new moms, those that have children, those that have kids in college, those that are grandparents. All kids need this. No child eats perfectly. And as if everyone would state this, none of us eat perfectly. We all have gaps, and this fills in all of those gaps. And Sunrider states go beyond spinach and kale with our highly concentrated powerhouse powder. This is what helped Dr. Chen get well. NuPlus fills your nutritional gaps with essential micronutrients, vitamins, prebiotics, amino acids, omega-3s, bioflavonoids, and antioxidants. It has no added fat, sweeteners, or sugars, so there's no sugar crash. You utilize this daily to balance out your nutrition. That's how Sunrider explains it. However, if we go to this product fact sheet and we look at one more time why so many of you are still having symptoms, I'm going to go back to this and state, most of the time it's because you did not build the system. You're still treating the symptoms. Eat more of what builds the systems first. Think of prevention. Think of building blocks, not just treatment. The NuPlus is the key building block. There's other ways to do it, but for those of you that can consume NuPlus, do this. All right? This is the building blocks. It's regenerative. All cells in the body from head to toe get nourished by NuPlus. It not only fills in your nutritional deficiencies, guys, but take that a step further. How would you ever know what your cells were deficient in? You may know what you're hungry for, but do you know what every cell in your body is deficient in? What your brain cell is looking for versus what the cells in your lungs are looking for versus what the cells in your digestive tract are looking for? Of course not. The NuPlus goes into every cell, has the right combination of nutrition, and can meet the need of that cell. That's what we're talking about, regeneration. We're not talking about I skipped lunch, therefore I will eat a NuPlus. We're talking about every cell of my body has its own, right? Balance and imbalance. And every time I eat that NuPlus, the cells I cannot see, whether they're aging spots on your skin that you want to get rid of, or for some of you, it's just you already know you have asthma, or the kids have asthma, or allergies, and you want to build up. Think about this. The more we overuse a system or underuse it, we change the nutritional level of that cell. Some will be more deficient. And this fills in what it's lacking. And therefore, you cannot see it. But I promise you, if you give it a little time, a lot of these systems will balance themselves out, and you'll notice huge improvement. And so I want to remind everyone that, just for example, the Chinese yam that is in NuPlus has been known not only to give you energy, but to nourish your body's organs, all your organs. Something as simple, right? And I mean as simple as a little powder that is in a packet, right, that we call NuPlus, has the ability to feed every cell in your entire body, thus regenerating you from head to toe and preventing you and those you love from a future of maybe genetic imbalances you cannot see, or current situations that we know they need help with. So if you can start with NuPlus and start nourishing all cells, you will notice you're having to treat less and you have a better quality of life. And for those of you that are eating NuPlus, eat more. For those of you that skip days with NuPlus, for a month, eat it every day. For those of you like I do, who have a lot of kids going back to school and come home exhausted and moody, and you wonder what to do, NuPlus. Start with NuPlus. For all of you who find yourself hitting that 3 o'clock hour where you're hungry, or you're tired, or you're moody, or you're not sleeping as well, whatever it may be, hear me on this, NuPlus. So if you start, guys, with the nourishment, and you understand it feeds the cell, then you can also understand it feeds the brain, right? It feeds the brain. The brain is made up of cells. The top focus, right, is directed to the brain and the cerebral flow, or the blood flow. NuPlus feeds the brain as a whole. And remember that the rest of the body is pretty much predicated and dictated by what the brain sends to it, whether it's how we experience joy, pain, how our organs function, what our thoughts are. Those of you that are worriers, overthinking, those of you that are not thinking because the memory is not there, you've got to nourish it. You cannot just ask for a pill and hope for the best. For those of you that have genetics, and I'm speaking to, my goodness, a plethora of you that are texting me right now that have genetics, or you've had family members, or you already know that your goal is to prevent everything from dementia. For those of you that are looking at Alzheimer's, 2 of you just texted that is a big concern for you. And 3 of you have said, how about migraine? So I want to remind everybody, whatever the need is, the nutrition's the same. Nourish the brain with NuPlus, just as the rest of the body. Then top focus to allow for a specific nutrition to help improve the cerebral flow and the oxygenation. And then third, guys, I want you to look at a product that a lot of you love. I know this, and I'm going to pull it up for you right now. And it is called VitaSpray. A lot of you know it, a lot of you love it, some of you use it. I want you to use this again every day, not just when you start to feel tired and you remember, but every day. And I'd love for those of you who are willing to try a combination of NuPlus, VitaSpray, and Top Focus for a month. And let us know how this goes for you. But VitaSpray, if you look up in anyone who's ever studied nutrition or been through a lot of schooling like I have, and a lot of you have, you understand the importance of B vitamins. And you understand how they are from everything from your hormones to your stress, right? Your coping skills, the ability for everyone to handle stress, but also how you focus. VitaSpray answers all of this. So just as NuPlus will nourish and Top Focus is directed at the brain flow, right, with the blood flow and the oxygenation, the VitaSpray is directed from a whole food way at filling in the deficiencies from a lack of B foods. For some of you, that's because you're vegan or vegetarian. For others, because you overconsume a lot of meat and vegetables and don't get enough. In other categories, there's a lot of reasons why we become deficient, even when we're eating our best. Some of us just require more, but this has mostly to do with what we call B12. And B12 really, I think, of all places, is best known for its hard-boiled egg image, right? Those of you that know that a hard-boiled egg has ample B12 in it. A lot of you do not like eggs. A lot of you feel that you're allergic to them. I know I have tons of patients that are allergic. Sunrider answered this question. And so what happens when you are deficient in vitamin B12 is your ability to think, focus, and handle your daily life or stress starts to go out the window. You start to become more reactive. You start to notice, for a lot of you, you're highly emotional, but you feel moody, or the kids are moody. You can use this 3 to 4 times a day. And what Sunrider writes, which is really spectacular, and again, I'm going to go directly to their product sheet, up your energy and your mental focus. Every pump of this fast-absorbing, powerful spray, it's sublingual. You spray it under your tongue, and 3 sprays give you the same amount of B12 that an injection would or a shot would that you require for the day. With just a little bit or a spritz, you will fuel your body with the recommended daily necessity of B12. So the kids get a spray. You can have 3 sprays. You will feel energized and calm, but you'll feel it first in your brain. You'll feel an energy and a calmness. And guys, as much as I'd like to tell you it's only one food that makes a difference for your brain and your memory, it's not. It's a combination. And what Sunrider's done is they've put it together properly for you. So we can improve our body's ability to get vitamin B12 and a B complex in a food-grade form without having to worry about eating those foods or being allergic to them in the spray under the tongue. And as I said to you earlier, you do not have to digest it. It's sublingual. It'll go directly into your bloodstream. And you will notice, kind of like for those of you that like those energy drinks, a quick surge of energy to your brain. The combination of Top Focus with VitaSpray with a NuPlus will balance your whole day. You will feel mentally wonderful. And Sunrider states that not only does it help from a mental perspective, but as I said to you before, it's your coping vitamin. And so what it does is it helps to regulate your central nervous system function. And your central nervous system function, right, supports your moods, your energy, your mental focus, your memory, and even your parts of your immune system. Okay? So we've got 3 different products that do 3 different things and all work collectively to improve how you think, how you concentrate, how you remember, but guys, how you prevent. And so ask yourself this question: am I eating enough of the Sunrider foods, the memory and the mental support I'm looking for daily? And if I'm not, can I increase now? And then have I told anyone else either that lives in my home or that I've shared Sunrider with before, right? Do they know this? Because a lot of times we have the product in our home and we either aren't using it or we're not using enough of it. Okay, questions, comments, thoughts on this, guys?
Hey, Karen.
Hi, Rich.
How you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm doing amazing.
Tell us.
I so believe in the healing processes of the body and the fact that they're all based on what you feed the body to allow it to heal efficiently. And I'm getting over an ankle injury. I tore my Achilles tendon, and the healing process for me, because I've increased everything, and of course I've already eaten that Sunrider gives us, but the healing process for me has just been amazing. To the fact that the doctor himself was amazed, and I'm probably a month or so ahead of the curve when it comes to recovery from this injury and the surgery. So again, it wasn't something I was able to say, hey, I'm gonna eat a lot of Sunrider and I'll never get hurt. I did get hurt, but I'm eating more Sunrider, so I'm recovering and healing that much better. That's at least what I'm going through at this moment. As far as just general health, yes, to me it's all about prevention.
Rich, it's an amazing, you have an amazing testimony and story as a whole. But I am curious because you have definitely had an extreme injury. And I know that had to have played on you emotionally, mentally, physically, because you had to stop a lot of things that you love to do. How fast do you think, after including all the Sunrider foods, do you think you healed, or how much faster did you heal than the doctor thought you would? And what did you do to help, compensate as you were going through it? I know there has to be a struggle mentally.
Well, right out of the gate, they told me that I was going to have to be in a hard cast for 2 weeks after they took out the stitches before I can transition into a boot. And after they removed the stitches, he said, well, you're healing so quickly and so strong that you don't have to go into the hard cast. So we cut 2 weeks out of the healing process right there, and I went into the boot. And for the boot, it was only a 4-week process. And when I went back my last checkup, he goes, you're ready to come out of the boot and start physical therapy and start strengthening your leg and building up the muscles, and then, of course, stretching and all that's involved. So I did a lot of the VitaFruit. I did a NBC, at least twice a day, and the Eulogia, and I can't even tell you what else, because I was basically doing everything, and I still am. And it was tough. I think it was tougher on me mentally than physically, because physically I just sat there. The doctor cannot believe I had absolutely no pain after the day I heard it. So again, I attribute that to the Sunrider that was just started healing everything so quickly. And then it was just a matter of fighting like you say, the depression and all of that, because I lead a very active, physically active life. And now I was confined virtually to bed or the couch, and mechanical things around the house again. People think, oh, you clean the floors. Yeah, that's a big deal for me. That's a big deal for Marlene.
Rich, let me ask you a question because I think it's really important, and I'm getting one person just emailed me this question. It's really important. So when you are dealing, we understand that Sunrider guys feeds our bodies so that they can regenerate. And so Rich is really talking about how he had an injury and he got to see Sunrider at work, but how this played on him mentally was equally as important. And so, Rich, I am curious, did you add the Top Focus? Did you add the VitaSpray? Did you add the NuPlus? Did you add foods that helped so that you could, so that mentally it wasn't as challenging?
Well, it was mostly the Top Focus Marlene was giving me, and more VitaSpray. I've always done a lot of the NuPlus. I mean, I basically live on NuPlus and VitaShake and all that anyway. That has always been my 2 meals a day. So, it was just more of the top joint.
More. Yes, more.
Yeah. It was
That's
an
the
increase
key.
because, because, and I tell people this, if what you're doing, you don't see a difference, do more.
That was the key.
Because it changes. As you go through different things, your body requires different things. If you're having more stress, you need more of something. If you're having more activity, you need more of something. So it's just like what you consider table food. If you're active and you're hungry, you have to eat something. You need more. So why more is increasing Sunrider.
I'm so glad that you feel better. Oh my gosh, I love what you just shared, and I hope everyone really got what Rich was really saying. Was he had a life change, and he ate more of the foods. He did not eat less. He ate more of them to help with it, and I think that's a really important piece.
Nina.
Yes, go ahead, Nina.
Hi, Rich. It's Nina. What about sports caps?
Yes, and it was interesting because when I heard Mac talk about the sports caps, that's when I started increasing those as well. Because I normally just did those when I would exercise, work out, cut the grass, that kind of stuff. So yeah, I started doing those more often also. I was doing 2 sports caps 3 times a day.
Okay, good. Thank you. And
Yeah.
how old are you?
Rich, did you hear him? Did you hear the question?
No, I couldn't hear. No, I'm in the car, so I didn't hear what they just said.
I think someone just asked how old you were.
Oh, well, surprisingly, especially to the doctor, I'm 75. And he said, for somebody in their 50s, you're healing really, really well. And I said, well, how about for somebody who's 75? And he okay, he had to go back and check my chart.
See? And that's what regeneration looks like. In a nutshell, but I'm bummed. Anybody have any more questions for Rich or any more questions on tonight's topic?
Hi, it's Jean, and I want to say something about, first of all, Rich, so happy you're getting better. And I have been eating Top Focus for quite a while now. And in fact, I just got my order in about 20 minutes ago. And NuPlus, I got my NuPlus, so I'm really happy about that because I only had one left. And and Top Focus came in too, and I noticed a difference. When I don't take my Top Focus, I know a difference when I take it as opposed to when I don't. It's like the light switch went on when I take it.
That's right.
Yeah. And Dr. Dees, what could you? Also, I do have ringing of my right ear a lot of times, and sometimes it gets really loud and it hurts. I don't know if it's the way I'm propping myself up in bed when I'm watching television or what, but it comes and it goes, and when it comes, it's really painful and annoying.
So I want you to increase the top focus, and I want you to tell us if there's more improvement.
Okay.
And go and sit in a chair.
I can't sleep in a chair.
Sit in a chair. Sit in a chair. And who else? Thank you, Judy. Who else had that question before we finish?
How about regular top?
So they're different. They're very different. And I will cover top, joint, knees next week for you. So top is wonderful in terms of feeding the brain. I think it's really important. And it does make a huge difference for many of us, right? In everything from the structure, right? The structure of our heads, our necks, aches, pains, even to the point for a lot of you of tooth pain, etc. But when we're talking about specifically focal points or recovery from a diminishing memory, the prevention of things like Alzheimer's, etc., top focus wins. But I will tell you the benefits of top next week for sure. Okay, and you guys can choose. But I want for those of you that really were looking for strategically concentration, focus, improvement of the brain, alertness, a calmer alertness, I want you to try it. Okay? And the reason I gave you that ingredient of ginkgo biloba is because a lot of you like to do your own research. And you can absolutely Google it so you can see a little bit of what's in here, all right? Okay, Marlene, are you on, honey? Can you tell a little bit about what's coming up next?
Yes, I'm here, honey. Thank you so much for that great information. As I sat here and took everything that you mentioned. Wow.
You and Matt. Okay.
Anyway, well, great reminders to do it right now. So no waiting. Anyway,
No waiting.
The call right after this is the Rising Stars team call. It's a fantastic call. And right after that is the Sunrider Win call. And you can find those links and all that information right on the Rising Stars Facebook page. And the password for the Win call is Sunbar.
Awesome. Okay, guys. Everybody who is texting me, I will respond to you as soon as I get the kids something to eat. And I am so grateful you took your time out tonight to participate and join us on this call. I hope you'll get on the Dara's call after this. And I know there's a Win call. And just remember, everybody, wherever you begin today is a wonderful place. So whether it's the first time or you're increasing or you're even considering it and having the conversation, it's all growth going in the right direction. So have a wonderful, healthy week, and good luck to everyone who's beginning school tomorrow. Bye-bye, everyone.